Alright, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's been a hot minute. I'm so sorry for all that, but it's been a long couple of weeks. The end result was 4 wisdom teeth got pulled and one of the molars that got destroyed. And I swear my mouth still doesn't feel right, but give me a few days, I'll be back to my bourbon drinking, cider swilling self. Wino ass, but they were just gonna be painting some Battletech, and maybe if I don't have any other plans later on, we might do a second stream tonight and do some drawing for y'all. Get that back on track. Man, it's been crazy. Absolutely fucking batshit insane, but hey, what can you do, right? It's been a day. Hey, there's everybody's mind right now, and can't really blame y'all for it. It's on my mind too. Yes, obviously it's the beard, the complete lack thereof, because I had to go clean shaven for the oral surgery. But no, everyone knows. Yeah, that's going to get ugly over there. It is not going to be at all the clear-cut victory that a certain short-shitted fascist for driving on through over there. I think he was figuring on being done in a month and then rolling on to the Baltic states. Yeah, I don't think it's going to pan out quite that way. Fortunate for over there. Fortunate because they had to do it they had to fight for their own lives in the first place. So y'all are the religious sort. There are a couple for brave souls and men and women of Ukraine. Even that sort of thing, Kurt fucking fascist in Russia, and hope that he gets coup d'etat. Some of the stories coming out of there are absolutely. They're giving him hell. Giving him hell. A lot more fight than we thought they'd have, which is great for them. They hold in for support. Downside is it likely cokehead fiend in fake guys. Hope that it goes on long enough. Again, really. Why are you such a piece of... all the time? Fuck you, NVIDIA. It's gotta be NVIDIA. Gotta be NVIDIA related. Is that better? But yeah, it's gonna be a thing for a while over there. And, Probably gonna make me too loud now. Back this down. Fair. Okay, that should do it. Longer that goes on, more odds are there's gonna be hot. Hoping before we ever get to that point where heads in Russia will prevent handle business. Soviet man. Gosh, the son of a bitch. Which there's a chance that could happen. It starts costing his fellow oligarchs money. There you are. No question. Yeah, I don't understand why. It's got to be an Nvidia thing. This shit updates once a week or so. I didn't even play with the settings or nothing. The only thing that it's done is it's squarely Nvidia related. Why it's fucking with my mic, who knows? But, figured we'd get some Merc Company painting in here. I took off from work, so the mouth trauma's pretty much gone, even though my feel alright. I can tell that a couple of them got some collateral damage from some wisdom teeth impact. But I'm eating a pharmacy over here, guys. Seriously. I'm eating a fucking pharmacy, I'm telling you. It's just like I'm eating a pharmacy. On like 4 different medications right now. Driving me up the... Because then you can't take them all at once, apparently. I'm eating a pharmacy. I said I'm eating a pharmacy. I'm on 4 different meds right now. You can't take them all at once, apparently. Need a bigger brush. Get a bigger brush. I will say one thing's for sure, though, man. Russia has a habit of, an Atlas battle mech and a bunch of other mechs, hopefully. We're doing some Battletech work. And, kinda following a paint scheme that I had on my other second Merc company. I haven't come up with their colors yet, and some of these mechs do company. But I want to get the Nemean, or the Sapphire Dragons painted up first, whenever they're my premier mech company. This, in particular, is one of the scariest mechs in Battletech. This is the Atlas. It's a 3D printed version because buying the normal ones is really hard to do. And on top of that, I'm so out of practice with this one. Not only is one of the scariest because 100-tonner, which is mech worthy of note, ridiculously armored. It is penetrable. Even when the Vatborn clan mech winners show up in 50s, the Atlas is still something that... It is 100 tons. And the Battletech and Mech Warrior franchise, it's got it all. You want political intrigue, it's got it. You want big giant robots that smash into things, it's got it. On anti-war commentary, it's got it. Great franchise. Great IP. Very diverse. Has been from the very start. And, yeah, it's one of my favorites, and, I've enjoyed this IP for a very long time. I'm glad I finally get to paint it with you guys. Show it off a little bit more. This was one of the clan mechs that I painted. And it's a salvaged mech for the Merc company in question. So that is why it is in the same paint scheme as our Atlas here. As we salvaged it. Battlefield salvage is a thing. I got a whole little narrative campaign with it I'm going to try out at some point. And, you guys probably won't get to see it, but it might get to be something I can bullshit around with some of my friends off camera, and I'll enjoy it. Bad thing is with this camera placement, it's harder to see. Like we might. You can tell I've not had a lot of sunlight in the last few months. I look paler than usual. Part of that is the sheer amount of medications I'm on, too. Tylenols and fucking penicillin and prednisone and something else. I only remember 3. They each are being, like, one of them is introduced into my system at, like, any given... having a different shoved down my... Not enjoying the experience. Also, I miss my fucking beard. I don't feel right without it. I don't care how young it makes me look to go beardless. It doesn't look right. Yeah, we're gonna work on these guys and just kind of get them so that they're pretty much, we're starting with our big clan busters. If you give me another month or so, I'll be outside more, and I'll have something resembling my suntan back, because if all goes well, hoping this weekend I might have my Trans Am back, which means I'll be driving around with the T-tops off for the next couple. Yeah, I had to for the surgery. Sucked ass. I literally remember almost none of it, though. To be fair. I remember them telling me to do this with the hand, and then I remember them telling me to stop and release my hand, and then the next thing I know, I am in the car on the ride home. That is the next thing I remember. They gave me some good shit to knock me out. Yeah, we're just gonna work on our Stalker here, our Atlas. The Assault Mechs come first, because these are the mechs that are for sure going into the Sapphire Dragons. I have to put some oil or something in there to strip it down proper. Diff on it already, I must have ruined it. But yeah, the Stalker here is also an assault mech. It's an 85-tonner. It is, of the assault mechs, it carries some of the most firepower out of any mech in the sphere, because its entire job is to murderize things. The Atlas is kind of the super tank. The Stalker's job, on the other hand, is to just absolutely pulverize positions into the combination of long-range missiles and energy weapons. I prefer to add SRMs to my kind of guy. Short-range missiles. That damn surgery cost me, after the insurance was done, it cost me $1,700 damn dollars too. Not pleased. ...2022 has been a pretty hard year on me physically so far. The rate I'm going, I'll probably break a bone again. In a week, I'll be able to fully weightlift again, so somewhere around Thursday, I'll be able to pump my irons back up. Just part of the reason I'm pale, too, is I've been a lot less active. One of those people. You guys can see the Stalker's coming along nicely, though. This is, so in my Merc company, everyone that, Sesam, Andarian / Ashes player will have a battle mech. He has the Atlas. Prada, which is Theris' player here. He's getting the Stalker for his first assault mech in our Merc company. So each one of these is going to be customized a little bit from each other as well, to reflect where their characters came from. God, I missed the beard. And my assault mech, at least for this wave, is a Battlemaster, which, believe it or not, that is also a Battlemaster, but that's the one we oiled up real good and proper. Once I get comfy working with that shit again, and, you know, have the ability to properly dilute it, we'll revisit that guy. But this is the MechWarrior Online version of the Battlemaster, so this will also work. And the Battlemaster is kind of like a faster, sort of a command mech kind of thing, where it's almost more focused on its mobility than outright firepower or armor. It's still scary because it is an 85-tonner, but it's as fast as a lot of the heavy mechs, and that makes it really dangerous. So for me, I like the Battlemaster, so that is my personal chariot until I get my Night Star. And I'm going to probably buy a Night Star and some more mechs on payday. Just part of the reason why we're thinning the pile of shame down just a little bit. Also, I assume I sound better now because I've killed the YouTube volume on my music a little bit. Background music isn't as powerful. I will say one thing though, since the tooth got pulled, I've been on this penicillin shit, my sinus has really let off quite a bit. Allegedly, I have periodontal disease started. Doesn't make much sense to me because I don't eat a lot of sugar. I don't drink a lot of pop. I brushed every day for like 8 minutes a day. I don't know. My flossing could have been better, but I don't know. I've started mouthwashing and, you know, all that shit, and they did like the deep cleaning and all that crap. So all told, I've spent like $2,500 on my mouth, and the only reason, frankly, I did that is because I work with you guys on camera. And you guys don't want to see a toothless redneck on your fucking stream, I know. So ruins the fun. So we had to yank those suckers and get everything cleaned out. I do keep adding to it. It's an addiction of mine. Like, I like to see and paint, and I like to create. Part of the reason it grows is because it's so hard for me to just, like, sit down and just paint. I've been tempted to just increase the amount of painting streams I do, to be honest. Go from there. Like, we'll go and be able to paint once a week for a chunk at a time, and then the next thing we know, I, you know, have to take like a week or two off from anything that isn't D&D. Because, you know, real life sucks ass. But now, we're going to work on my heavy mech. My personal chariot of choice for the heavies, at least for right now, is the Thunderbolt. This thing, according to lore, was considered an assault mech when it was first created. Which should scare everybody because it was only 65 tons, and everything that you've seen me paint is 85 tons or bigger. This thing was at one point considered an assault before it got reclassified as a heavy, because heavies just got, or assault mechs just got bigger and better. But the Thunderbolt was actually pretty damn good at its job. Great brawling mech in MechWarrior Online, as well as MechWarrior 5 when you equip it properly. It suddenly becomes able to, it torso twists really well. It is able to spread the damage because of the shape of the torsos. So you're able to really just absorb fire in the Thunderbolt. And you're also able to dish it back out because it has a respectable complement. It's got like 3 or 4 medium lasers. Yeah, this one has 4 medium lasers, 2 machine guns, and by default it would have an LRM-15, I believe. But mine will be packing 2 SRM-6s. I actually wound up with 2 of them. I actually bought 2 of these by accident. So, yay us, we have a second Thunderbolt. Means I can experiment a little bit on the paint schemes. My call sign, we're going to get a dragon as well. I'm going to pick up a dragon mech, which is another one of my favorite heavies. That one is going to be my Heartbreaker. My first Thunderbolt I called Big Daddy, which I guess my personal Thunderbolt, I'm going to have a reversion of the paint scheme that I'm doing now. I'm going to make it look more like my MechWarrior Online one, where it's mostly white and then has some blue added to it. But yeah, Heartbreak 1 is what I personally called my call sign in MechWarrior. Each of the Merc Commanders in my fantasy company here, each of us commands our own lances, and mine is the Heartbreak Lance. So I'm Heartbreak 1. And then I will ask Krata and Sesam what they prefer to call their pilots. For their call signs. So we've got a good chunk started already. Let's go ahead and get another of the salvage mechs. I think we're going to get the Supernova out. So the Supernova is another clan mech, like the Timberwolf there. The Supernova is kind of like the clan's version of the Stalker. Occupies a very similar role. Lots of guns on as big of a chassis as they could strap it to, while keeping it mobile. It's decently fast, it's decently armored, but it carries just an ass ton of weapons. In fact, I think the default is like a whole bunch of medium lasers, a couple large lasers, and maybe a PPC or 2. It's ridiculous. Runs hot, hence the name Supernova. But, it does, shoot. So we're going to paint the Supernova. Perfect. Company colors, because this also a salvaged mech for our Merc. So essentially what happened during the start of the clan invasion, the Sapphire Dragons are out beyond the periphery, which is known settled space. And they're dealing with pirates and, doing stuff like that, looking for Star League tech. Because they discovered that Star League went to the Galactic North on their exodus. So they decided that they had the currency built up, and they've got the prestige. They are also all but a state-sponsored Merc company. And so, in other words, they have access to a lot of funding most Merc companies won't have. They have the best of everything kind of thing. And they take a lot of their toys, they go out to the periphery, and the clans, they happen on clans outposted out in the middle of the periphery. The clanners, not realizing that they're there because, they're leaving behind like garrison forces kind of thing over conquered territory. The Sapphire Dragons think they're pirates. Well, they shoot up these mechs that are strange. They've never seen them before. They're thinking they're onto a Star League cache. They're like, maybe this is some Star League tech. Because it's all better than what we're using, right? Or seems to be. Their mechs are too fast. They're packing too many guns. You know, that sort of thing. Like, there's a lot of anomalies going on compared to what they should be dealing with out there, especially. So they think that maybe they're on towards a Star League cache. They go checking out this, you know, what they think is going to be lost Star League tech. They're like, well, we just take it from these pirates and we'll have ourselves our very own Star League shit. It'll give us an advantage over our competition. So they go out there, they happen on some clan mechs, and they get the drop on them. Like, the clan mechs in question, like the first little garrison that they run across is just like the original set that I painted. That Nova, the Adder, the Gremlin, or the Grendel, the Timberwolf, and the Executioner. And they're like, you know, they take those in victory. And they get lucky one more time and end up with this Supernova, which cases Assault Mech right now. And they happen to capture a Supernova. And then they realize really quickly that this isn't just some small pirate group that has stumbled on a cache of weapons that they shouldn't have with lost tech. And they spend the next while getting hunted by the clans, where a Warhawk, Stormcrow, or the mechs that I'm bringing out in the background here, the Warhawk here, the Stormcrow, a Nova, like all start, you know, like they're starting to realize that this is a big deal, and they don't have the technology to continue to fight out here, and the resources are getting supply drained, so they make their way back to inner sphere space. And when they do, they realize just this is an actual invasion. And they're the only merc companies to actually got experience, you know, fighting the clans. So they're going to get dragooned into helping fight the clans. All the while, they're trying to, you know, keep a hold of their special salvage before, you know, Comstar takes too much of an interest in it. And that's the story for the Sapphire Dragons in my head. They're going to be really cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. We actually get around to playing this stuff. And I'm kind of really looking forward to it. Warhawk and the Stormcrow we're going to paint up in Ghost Bear colors, I think. No, I'm going to do those in Jade Falcon, because Jade Falcons are assholes. We're going to paint them up in the Jade Falcon colors, because that would be logically who they would be dealing with, I think. They pretty much fought a little bit of Clan Wolf, a little bit of Ghost Bear, and then ran across Jade Falcon, essentially, is what happens. And when all the clans realize that there's a raiding force out in the periphery, they, you know, immediately try to chase down the Sapphire Dragons. It's going to be a real fun story. It's going to be a lot of fun for us to do. This little Jenner here is going to be painted up in the Nemean Panthers colors. So my other merc company, they're essentially shoestring budget at the complete opposite end of known space. I know I can make this thing focus on it. Focus, you fuck. Too much white, I guess. So they're going to go Nemean Panthers, because the reason we're doing the Nemean Panthers on these guys, they're very shoestring budget, so they have better light mechs, a lot of tanks, and a lot of infantry stuff, and air support, but not a lot of big boy mechs. Like, they start getting towards the heavy end of the spectrum at, like, the 65-ton range. Also, I need to load up my buying guide right quick so I can see which one of these mechs remains in, my thing that does the stuff. Alright, we need buying guide. There we go. Okay, so the Rifleman is going to be a Sapphire Dragon. So let's work on the Rifleman here. get his base color on. So essentially, I'm gonna have several different paint schemes. The Sapphire Dragons are an elite mercenary unit, elite mech warriors, where they don't really have much in the way of the support vehicles, like the tanks and stuff. They don't have the tanks. Tanks in Battletech are inferior to mechs, most universally. Until you start talking about, like, the Decimator, which has, like, 2 autocannon 20s and weighs, like, 100 tons. But all tanks are vulnerable to being stepped on by battle mechs. Really hard to fight when the guy can just stomp on your face, right? So we're gonna make 2 very different mercenary companies. Plus, I'm gonna buy some more clan mechs for. I want to have some that aren't painted. I want one of each. I want each of the big 3 represented, and the easiest way to do that will be to have, like, Jade Falcon. Jade Falcon, I think, is going to be the one that they primarily have fought against in the early stages. We'll probably paint them up in Jade Falcon first, our Falcon mechs. We'll go from there. Should be cool. Should be cool. Then we're going to have some Ghost Bear painted ones, because eventually, once they get back home to the Rasselhag Republic, which is the state that sponsors the Sapphire Dragons, primarily, they're going to be enlisted to fight Ghost Bear. And Ghost Bear is my favorite of the clans. They're kind of space Viking-y. They love American football. It's great. Like, they're absolutely great. They're actually really kind of bro. They eventually realized that Rasselhag fought them so hard that they're just going to stay in Rasselhag space, and then they just integrate themselves in with the FRR. They become, I think, like the Rasselhag Dominion or something like that. Sure. Yeah, sure, it sounds good. I'm not ready for them, though. Yeah, like, we're gonna have Ghost Bear, we're gonna have Jade Falcon. I'm probably, if I get more Timberwolves at this stage, I actually have to do them up in Clan Wolf colors, because... So I'm gonna have a couple of Wolves next. I'm gonna probably grab a Mad Dog, another Timber. Of course, I'm gonna get a Kodiak because it's not. I'll tell you what. At some point. Yes. Check out Sarna.net and Text Talks Battletech on YouTube. You want to check out Sarna.net on just the internet, and then look up Text Talks Battletech on YouTube. And it'll help explain a lot. He does really great lore videos, and he's a pretty stand-up guy. He does a lot of charity work. In fact, we should be coming up on another video of his soon. Unless something bad's happened. He's been kind of inactive on Twitter here lately again, so I don't know. In fact, I'll go ahead and link bomb you guys. Give me just a minute here. I highly recommend this guy. He's great. I'll just go ahead and drop that in there. His first videos are short. His first vids are short, but they get longer as they go, especially as he starts talking about lore and things that happen in the setting. The long story is, so the inner sphere is like Earth and systems that they eventually first colonize to and expand out to. There's a giant civil... They form a super organization called Star League. And the Terran hegemony forms Star League. A lot of states join Star League, like Draconis Combine and all that. And from there, what happens is Ameris decides that he's going to get some revenge for a perceived wrong. Yeah, we got a Shadowhawk to paint as well for the guys. So this is Sesam's medium mech of choice, pretty much. He also likes the Hunchback, so I'll do those in his customized colors as well. So essentially, Star League eventually collapses from the just the weight of the Civil War. The inner houses, the inner sphere houses, pretty much just, they're constantly infighting and trying to take control over one another. Technology gets lost, knowledge gets lost. It's a dramatic fall from grace, technologically speaking. And the man Alexander Kerensky, who was the general, the supreme commander for Star League, during the end of the Ameris Civil War, he realizes that the Inner Sphere is going to fall into another civil war to try to take over Star League and its resources and technology. So he just up and leaves. He takes pretty much the entire remnant of the SLDF, and they leave the Inner Sphere for the periphery. Eventually what happens is they start settling planets out there. Some civil wars happen. Alexander Kerensky eventually dies. His son Nicholas takes over. And then he creates an entirely new culture, which become the clans. And the clans have a complete different mindset when it comes to war. They also have a caste system. They're also big on genetic engineering. Like, they are very technologically minded. Warrior caste first and foremost rules kind of thing. Supposed to be a full-on meritocracy. And it goes well for them out there. And eventually they've sworn that eventually they will come back to the Inner Sphere and reclaim their birthright and save the Inner Sphere from their own selves. They're essentially victims of their own mythology, because they eventually forget the real history behind everything, and they just see the Inner Sphere as the bad guys, like all of the inner houses. They're nothing but barbarians. They're nothing but, you know, backwater, you know, because they eventually send scouts. And the scouts report back that the Inner Sphere has lost a lot of technology, blah, blah, blah. And a couple of the scouts start siding with the Inner Sphere and tries to warn the Inner Sphere that hell is about to be unleashed. And, in the year 3050, the clans invade again, or invade for the first time. And for 2 years, the Inner Sphere is just getting its clock cleaned. But then the logistics end of things start to catch up to the clans, because their supply lines are so far back from where they need to be that they can't easily rearm these mechs and rebuild. So whatever casualties they take are lasting. So who's got the Wolverines? The Wolverines go to Panther. Along with this. The Viking will also be in the Sapphire Dragon mech, which happens later in the timeline. And that's my custom Thunderbolt. Okay. So well, let's go ahead and paint up my Viking. And this should be the last of my primary. So essentially what's going to happen, but yeah, so the entire setting, like, there's this big shootout between the Inner Sphere and the clans. Comstar, which is its own thing, and it's going to take me a while to explain Comstar. So Comstar, eventually, Comstar's kind of like the last gasp of the original Star League. So they've hoarded technology, they've kept it to themselves. And originally the plan was they were just going to let the clans have pretty much the inner houses, and they were going to rebuild the Terran hegemony. And then Comstar finds out the clans are going to push all the way to Terra. So the Comstar challenges the clans to a battle on a planet called Tukiad. They prepare this absolute murder hole. And the clans, because of the way their warrior system works, so essentially what happens is the clans bid. They have what they call a batch-all. And they bid for forces. And he, in the faction that bids the least forces, is the one that gets to take the honor of assaulting a planet. And to drop first. So everyone in the clans does their bids. They drop down on Tuki, and they're expecting... Comstar is, you know, they're not warriors. They're a jumped-up telecom company. Imagine if Verizon Wireless and AT&T merged together with Spectrum and then bought a bunch of military tech. And that's essentially Comstar. And they completely underestimate the forces as well as the general that's in charge of the Comstar units. And they just get bodied. And so the clans are no longer allowed to invade for 10 more years because the clans, they don't do takesies backsies. They're extraordinarily honor-bound. And they're all about personal glory. So they have to follow the terms of the battle because they lost. And eventually, like, a whole bunch more shit happens. The Dark Age happens. There's a jihad where Comstar goes back to being full bad guy with interest. It's great. It is an absolutely great setting. Highly recommend the setting. It is just great. There's a lot of anti-war themes in it. There's a lot of political backstabbing and maneuvering that happens. I never could get into Game of Thrones because, frankly, it's not as good as Battletech is at the intrigue and the backstabbing. And there's just so much material for Battletech. Some books are just a pulpy action novel, and then some you really get some wheeling and dealing. And everything can contribute, especially in a series, to the overstory. There was even a cartoon for Battletech in the 90s. It was pretty terrible. I don't recommend it. But, to give you an idea how smart the creators for Battletech really are, rather than just straight out retcon it, it's an it is considered propaganda in the universe. That cartoon is literally now considered in-universe as a propaganda film. They're very much more willing to roll with their bad lore and turn it into something that's usable than Games Workshop is. They're also much more friendly as a miniatures company, by far. Like, I can take these 3D printed minis to a Battletech tournament, and they'll let me in and play. They'll be like, dude, that's cool, that's awesome, let's go. What do you got? And it's awesome. You can get the rules pretty much free online. You have access, and they love their fans. They absolutely adore their fans. They don't fight their fans. They let their fans pretty much create whatever they want because they know fans are advertising. Fans are the revenue. They're the lifeblood of your hobby. And Microsoft technically has the rights to all of it, if I remember right. But they've been really chill. And they're really cool about this. So, totally worth it. Watch all the Tex talks. There's some other Battletech lore guys, but Tex, I think, is about the cream of the crop. It is. It's a really creative solution. They did such a good job. They did such a good job with how they handle it. They don't take it as... They don't take themselves too seriously. Like I said, it's a very anti-war setting. It's a very... There is a lot of social commentary in it about the dangers of, like, authoritarian governments and aristocracies and plutocracies. And there's a whole bunch of factions. Now, Battletech does need to clean up its house a little bit. Mainly because the two primary Asian factions are cartoon villain levels of bad. But I think that is changing because in MechWarrior 5, honestly, like, some of the better missions as far as, like, humanitarian stuff came out of Capellan space, which is one of, in the main setting, comic book villainry, like, to the nines. Like, it's like the worst of North Korea crossed with the worst of communist China, and that is Capellans in a nutshell. Kirita are just rotten assholes that are like pseudo-World War II Japan, pseudo-Bushido code, and they're flat-out ball bags. And they did it a little too much to portray the non-Asian factions as more good. Now, that said, I did notice the lore is changing for the better there. Like, in MechWarrior 5, a lot of the Davion missions I did were pretty damn scummy. Which is a complete role reversal from the usual, because they all but turn, like, Davion into, like, the Jesus faction, I swear. Like, they're just so good. They always try to do the right thing, and it's obnoxious. Like, the Merrick Free States are, like, a loose confederation of people that seem to be pretty much on the level. But they're always, they can be good guys, or they can be the bad guys. Steiner, they're hilariously incompetent as far as their military command goes, because you can buy officer status in Steiner space. So you have a lot of these generals who are worse than armchair generals. They're flat out a paper general because all they did was hand out a bunch of money. And that's, you know, and they're born into that position like their kids are. So once you're into the nobility in Steiner, it's pretty easy to get a command of mechs that you shouldn't have. But they make a ton of money, so they are able to do things like the Atlas Scout Lance, where you have 4 giant atlases, you know, scouting enemy positions. Because Steiner is that wasteful, they can afford to be. The Free Rasselhag Republic is pretty cool. They are like a cross between, kind of like, idealized... They're the more ideal side of... Yeah. There's a lot of that going around, but I think it's not going to end well for Putin in the long run. This is going to go badly for him. There's too many people up against him now. There's too many. His own people are even rebelling now, for fuck's sake, so it's going to go bad. So they just have to last. That's the important thing. Just have to outlast. And I think they can. I really do. But, so, Rasselhag, they're like Space Vikings meets Samurai. And they're actually pretty cool. They were created as a buffer state to exist between Steiner and Kurita, but they're actually pretty boss, and they do, when the clans invade, they eat the brunt of it, and they do still fight so hard that Ghost Bear just eventually is like, okay, yeah, we're gonna give up on this in the same way that we're not fighting y'all the same way everyone else is going to from now on. We're just gonna start, respecting y'all. And they eventually just integrate into Rasselhag. Really cool, really cool. That's where this Viking mech eventually results from, is the merger between the two. Which is going to be one of my personal assault mechs. In fact, today I might go ahead, because I took a lot less damage financially than I was planning on from this teeth scenario, so I have like twice as much money left as I was expecting to have. So I might be able to treat myself, because hey, Monday's payday anyway. I'm getting paid Sunday night, so really, and all my bills are paid. So yeah, Rasselhag's really boss. Capellans are really, in lore, Capellans are really backstab happy, really trickery. In fact, I might go ahead and order some shit here in a minute. And I'll link you guys the stuff that I'm buying, because I get my stuff mostly on Etsy. Because it's hard to get individual mechs, because the 3D printing side of this community has gotten... Huh? 6 o'clock. Yeah. The 3D printing side is so far ahead of... trying to make a goof again. I swore I saw a goof. They're so far ahead of Catalyst now, which, to be fair, is partly because Catalyst game stuff just flies off the shelves, man. Like, it goes so fast. Yeah, you really got to tell me how good Elden Ring is. It looks fun. For fans. You know what? I might reuse. Has it really been an hour? Can I just kill myself instead? Like I said, guys, I'm eating a pharmacy. Ooh, that could be fun. But yeah, like they're so far ahead. God. Sucks. I should have pulled the trick. Ooh, Southlands is out. Ooh. Ooh, I might do a couple of things today. Boys and girls, children of all ages, I might be doing a couple things. Ooh. Ooh, baby. Okay, so the new drive. Damn, an 8 terabyte NAS drive would be... You know, at some point, I need to assemble the Star Trek model kits that I have. I've got a couple of those I might do for y'all, too. I think you guys would enjoy that. So let's find my Battletech stuff. I know I had it. Shit, really? Where'd they go? There's Toma Beast 2, which, as much as I've enjoyed Toma Beast 1... Oh, I know what that is, too. Yeah, that'll be a good one. I have a lot of shit on here I still need to buy, chat. Look at this thing right quick. Oh, that is so cool. Oh, that is cool as fuck. No wonder why I put that in my wish list. That's cool. So I'm looking right now for my Battletech stuff in my Amazon list. I'm having a hard time finding it. I swear I had Battletech on here. Here we go. Alright. Battletech Legends. There's Game of Armored Combat. Is this the one with the core rules in it? Ooh, it's got the catapult.
There once was a legend.
A locust.
Treasures and gold. About all things magic. About
Don't know what that middle one is.
Wizards and dragons.
Alright, let's see what the mechs are.
In the depth of your dreams,
It's got the core rules in it.
in your heart, in your mind.
Oh, it has an awesome, a Battlemaster, a Catapult, a Commando, a Locust, Shadowhawk, Thunderbolt, and Wolverine. Okay, so I could get a third Thunderbolt. That would get me my awesome.
Your path. To greatness you are sworn. The world will come to witness a true hero reborn.
So it's the older style awesome.
Deep breath as the story unfolds.
Not the Mech Warrior Online.
Of a tale untold.
Comes with the core rules. Okay, so it would cost me $77 if I bought the one. There's a lot of 3D printing material too. Yeah, but I am knocking this pile down. Y'all seen this? They at least have base coats. Which reminds me, it's time to get out the next shade of blue. So, time to brighten up our boys and girls here a little bit. So, pretty matte fan pack too. Leopastic putty, liquid green stuff. Yeah, I definitely need those at some point. That would get me 6 ARGB headers out of stock. Okay. Use a new shirt too. There's a badass looking shirt that I've been eyeballing for a while that I kind of want. Looks like all my battle. Can I search just my wish list on this? Just for Battletech. Okay, so I only have a couple of things on here for Beast. Yeah, we're gonna add to that pile of shame today. You guys are gonna get to see me add to that because I think you guys are gonna enjoy that. And I'll link what I buy. I have a couple of sellers that I'm going to try to buy from again. They did me right. One of them actually gave me more mechs than they were intending on. Because it was a first-time purchase, I got a free mech. Bought a whole bunch of stuff from them. So I got one more mech than I was planning on. Really cool of them. I like those guys a lot. I think it's Omniforged. We're just gonna dab some goodies in here, and then I'm going to stir my paint. Dark blues. Alright. We're gonna go ahead and start with edge highlights. Kind of brighten up the blues a little bit on these guys. Yeah, it is an amazingly great. The community is great. Overall, this community for Battletech is just amazing. It's one of the most welcoming. There's not a lot of gatekeeping. A couple of fast trashes tried to usurp the hobby. And so they were getting butthurt at GW, and they got kicked the fuck out. The hobby pretty much just made fun of them until they left. There's a few left, but not many. I doubt they're going to be honest. I should probably up the bright puppy. That turned up for y'all, so fun so I can see what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah, it's a great company as far as how they treat their fans. We're gonna have a good time with it. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to play the tabletop. I'm going to try to. Sesam actually has a set of mechs too, and I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a cool thing for him and I to do on Saturdays when I'm not D&D prepping. So my plan is eventually get to the point where once Ravenloft is done and I become a player in a campaign again, is Saturdays I'm going to probably use for small projects and or Battletech days with Sesam as my current plan, such as it is. This is just not as bright of a blue as I was expecting it to be. So, new excuse. I have. Remember how I was running out of white? Bought me a whole bunch of titanium white. Perfect time to break it out. Paint's too dark on the other blue, so one little dollop of Liquid Tex Basics Titanium White. I'm a big fan of titanium white as a color. I was originally gonna paint my Tau stuff, and today we were originally gonna do nothing but Tau. I had enough Tau minis that we could work on, but I was like, you know, really kind of feeling the Battletech spirit today. So let's work on some B-Tech, and yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. It thins the pile of shame. Fun as hell to paint. Each time I paint these guys, I always kind of update the story a little bit. And I'll probably have another fit of inspiration later on. Because I kind of went on my ramble earlier and told you guys what I've got so far for their lore. And each of our 3 Lance Commanders are... each of the big 3... they are going to have their own stories, their own personal backgrounds. Sesam, for example, is role-playing as a former Comstar agent. May or may not be so former. He may or may not just be there to spy on us. Kind of keep tabs on us as we progress outwards from the inner sphere. Should be a lot of fun for all 3 of us once we get to a point where I think there's a chance that the 3 of us can all play together. Good storyline. Be good writing exercise. And we can always do the campaigns, make them fit the narratives. I like doing narrative things, as you guys seen with my D&D campaign so far. I run it like Michael Bay meets a plot, I know, but speaking of, now that, my mouth is not dying on me and, trying to make me commit seppuku, I'll actually be able to do stuff with y'all on Sunday, so I believe we'll even have a Foxy, so I'm kind of up in the air right now. But I think I know what I might do with the group. I'm going to go ahead and start the next 2-part arc. It should be a lot of fun. On paper, it's just a 2-parter that we're going to be working on. And like I said, on paper, it's only going to be a 2-parter. It might turn into a 3 for this first part, but we'll see. You guys should get to see that unless I decide to go back to the vanilla module, which we just did a vanilla module part, and part of me says I should do another before I start another arc. That way it's like a 2 and 2 kind of thing. But the part that's in there that I want to do / don't want to do, it's almost more of a set piece than a needs to happen. I think it's mostly there to make the players hate Strahd more. And I don't think that this group needs that extra motivation, so whereas if I do the 2-parter, I can still accomplish that same goal. Where they just do not want Strahd to live. For obvious reasons. Wow, that's a lot of glare coming off. I'm going to back it down a step or two. There we go. That's a little better. That's a little better. So now you guys can actually see it a little. It's a little bit of edge highlighting. Nothing fancy. Just kind of touching up. Yeah, guys, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great for everyone. So it's really kind of up in the air whether it depends. Like, tomorrow is usually my D&D prep day. And there is some very minor prep that I have to do if I run with the 2-parter I have planned. But if I run with the module, I'm going to have to do some preppy prep. Some actually decent prep. But it'll be if I do run with the original module, it'll be very roleplay heavy. That's kind of why I'm tempted to run it for that next scene. But at the same time, Foxy's schedule is also limited because she's only able to join us every 2 weeks. And I kind of want her in on, I want her in on the big plots. So what I might do is you know what? That answered my question. That answered exactly my question. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow we're going to run the part 1 of the 2-parter. When she's gone next week, we're going to do the original module piece. And then when she comes back, we're going to go ahead and do we'll do the 2-parter, part 2, when she comes back. Or if I turn it into a 3-parter, we can do another part of the module, and then when she comes back, do that. I'm trying to make sure that all the major, like the custom story stuff, that I'm going to have with all the time that I can. And I think that's the most fair way to do it. It also gives you guys a chance to see the original module more, maybe. And the original timetable I had was the campaign was going to end probably somewhere in May. or June even. So I'm not exactly, like, super crunched for time. Oh, y'all saw him, you saw them raffle stomp Strahd when he was outside of his lair. Which I knew they would. I knew they would, because one, the sidekicks changed the action economy so dramatically. But two, without his lair actions, he's just a little bitch. The lair is going to make a big difference, but I'm also, now I kind of know how much I'm going to have to spice him. Every now and then I have to do a math check, where I figure out where party is at mechanically, and that was a good week to do it. So yeah, next time we're going to do that. It's going to be with us tomorrow, I believe. In fact, I'm going to double check with her later on and see if she's going to be joining. Just to double check. But sometimes she has some stuff come up over the weekends. Like one weekend she had a surprise visit from her, so I'm mature enough as a DM. Fuck, last week was my fault. Straight out was my fault, his fucking teeth. So yeah, you guys are gonna have some fun. Depending on what happens tonight when Crota gets out. Busy tonight, then I might do a drawing stream. Get back at trying to burn off some extra energy, because I can't even lift weights until these teeth sockets are healed. They don't want me straining anything around my jaw or my neck, where I might, you know, either clench down or really pull the muscles in the back of my mouth. So I'm not allowed to really do super lifting, so I'm going to have to find some ways to burn some energy off, especially since I did not go to work today. I didn't go yesterday. So I am practically vibrating apart. Yeah, that looks really good. I like those edge highlights. That really helps these guys. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the next mech. Do the Rifleman is edging. Yeah, I guess I could try a light jog or something. I don't know, but I think the drawing stream will help because it's going to exercise my brain. Plus, chatting with you guys does help. You know, I'm multitasking. I've not been eating a lot of calories though either. Not like I'm overfueled. I do suffer from insomnia, and my personal way of combating it is weights. Now tomorrow I might go to the flea market. That'll get me some walking done. I'm going to buy some damn jelly donuts. I want fucking donuts. I don't care. I know I'm not supposed to have sugar for a while, but I don't care. I want my donuts. I saw Krispy Kreme donuts, fresh baked, for sale over there last time I went. We have not had a Krispy Kreme access, or ready access to Krispy Kreme in almost 2 years here, so I'm getting my fix. Spoiler alert, I love jelly donuts. Love me some jelly donuts. Boy, this is starting to look like something, ain't it? We're just kind of going through. Just to kind of bring. Then we're gonna start. We're gonna start some fuckery, but I might break out the Executioner when we get that. I think the Executioner is gonna be a perfect test subject for just. The bad thing is I am practicing on Battletech. Been out of painting practice. A months, probably about a month. The way I'm holding the brush. Battletechs are so cool. If y'all want, you know, there's also a lot of really good audibles Battletech. Yeah, yeah. For me, weightlifting has been the answer. Not only is it, you know, good for you health-wise, but it burns so much energy, and it does it for days. Like, when you're done lifting, it'll still burn for up to 72 hours. So, still burning energy off days later. That's a big deal. Like, it started as a vanity thing, and then I realized somewhere in my late teens that I was sleeping better. So I was like, well, this is what I need, because I can't do 8 hours of sleep naturally, or even 7. Like, I am just that miswired that I have to just be exhausted. Yeah, this is turning out. And, you know, if I can get into the streaming thing again more regularly during the week, if I don't do a drawing stream tonight, you guys might see me playing with Chase if he's do that just to. We have an interesting save started. I can tell my late game is going to be really, really strong. It's going to be an incredibly strong late game for me, because I have several neutron stars, which are going to let me have super material production. I have several ruined mega structures. I'm going to only make that production even better. Okay, so he's pretty much edge highlighted, I think. So we're going to move on from the Rifleman, and we're going to start on the Supernova here. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this anymore. But yeah, if Chase is around, we might second stream and do Stellaris tonight. And if he's not, then we'll do a drawing stream. You guys are going to see my mug twice in one day, and that'll get me my 3 streams a week quota, right? That's how that works. Don't tell the doctors, but I'm probably going to do some mild lifting at some point. Nothing strenuous, just the 55-pounder. Just the baby rattle. Some curls. Maybe some diamonds. Some reverse grip diamonds. And some light squats. Just enough to get some burn in there. Okay, so I have an idea. So at some point I said I was going to get one of those clippy mics, that way it's with me all the time. But I might actually try the webcam's mic here in a second. Because it is, the hardest part is just getting started, honestly. Like, if you make it through the first 3 weeks, you're golden. Like, once you get through the first 3... The first 3 is all about just establishing your routine. The next 3 after that is... You know, you're starting to see the real results. Like, yeah, you'll see some results in that first 3 if you're really, really doing your job. But you really don't see the gains until about 6. And then, like, you just keep getting stronger. Your gains just start coming faster. And then it gets to a point where whenever you get comfortable with what you see in the mirror... It's easy. It's easy after that. Like, it's just maintenance mode. And maintaining muscle is so much easier than trying to rebuild it. I know, I've quit twice in my life. And... it is always harder to come back from nothing. Even if you quit for a while, like, particularly with weights... if you quit for a while and then come back, there's still some muscle memory there. Like, you're still going to have... Like, your body is still going to remember the motions. Like, your stamina won't be as good, maybe, and you won't be as strong. But, like, the form, you'll start to remember the form within, like, a couple of sets. And then, like, you're like, okay, I can do this. And then if you turn around and do it the next day, your recovery is still there, so you're prime. You just got to make it through the first 3 weeks of hell. Like, once you get through the first 3, it's easy. Military-wise, if you're going to do anything like basic training, for anyone watching that wants to join the military, same rule applies. The first 3 weeks are going to be the worst part for you. If you've already trained to the point where you're keeping up with or are ahead of the standards, their entry standards, basic's going to go really easy for you. The hardest part at that point is not laughing at the stupid shit the drill sergeant is going to say to talk shit. Because they say some goofy, funny shit, man. They will say some goofy, funny shit. I will warn anyone now that is thinking about going. That is honestly going to be the hard part for you, is don't laugh. Just don't laugh. Don't laugh at them. Please, God. Yeah, just kind of work into it. Like, the hardest part of any routine is that first 3 weeks, guys. Scheduling is also kind of a pain, but what I usually will do to recommend someone starting out, 10 minutes. 10 minutes of high-intensity lifting a day. That's all you need to start. And then you build it up by another 2 minutes. It can be at the start of your day, it can be at the end of your day, but as long as you've got 10 minutes, you've got enough to start on. And then you'll find the time for the rest. Because then, you know, you're like, oh, that 10 minutes was easy. I need to do something else. You just get it. You gotta start. Start small and then build up. Best advice I can give you. Go through that first 3 weeks of suffering, and like when I get back, because I've now been off for pretty much a week, couldn't stand it. All this tooth was bothering me, I just couldn't do it. It's going to be hard. But I think officially I'm allowed to really kind of lift hard again in about Thursday. But I'm going to be sneaking some little baby rattle lift just to kind of keep everything in tone and check. The Supernova's cool, guys. I love this one. There is another assault mech for the clans that we're also going to be picking up. There's going to be several, actually, but one of my friends, Rev, I'm going to make sure he gets a couple of battle mechs. Companies. He's going to get, like, a Kodiak and probably something else. I don't know what yet. The idea is, like, all of my friends are going to be Lance Commanders for each of the Merc companies. In that way, too, like, eventually my plan is to have enough mechs where we do, like, you know, skirmishes, which are like, you know, you do like fire training versus each other kind of thing, where you're just role-playing out training day for your, you know, keeping up with your recruits and making sure that war games, that's the word I was looking for. Kind of like a war games thing. And then I'm going to have enough mechs where we could do raids between different Merc companies, like the Nemean Panthers might square off against the Sapphire Dragon. They're raiding a Jade Falcon base or Ghost Bear. So, stuff like that, where I'm going to have a variety of options. It'd be cool. I just wish this mic wasn't so directionally based, because, like, it's a super cardioid mic. I think that's really been my problem since painting stuff. There are video games. They're called the Mech Warrior. The video games are all Mech Warrior, except for Harebrained Schemes Battletech. But they're all they have games called Mech Warrior. Otherwise, this is a tabletop game, and it's a cool tabletop game. It is ridiculously cool. From what I'm told, it's what I know about the rules. It's fairly complex, but the amount of mechs you see here, we have like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Just in blue, I've got 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16 mechs. That is way more than you would typically see. Like, usually it's like 4 mechs versus 4 mechs. 4 versus 5 or 4 versus 6. If it's clan versus Intersphere. Plus you'll have little things like tanks and stuff. And those 4 mechs that game can go on for about an hour, hour and a half, from what I understand, once you know the rules. So it's cool. It's still a faster game to play than Warhammer 40k. 40k, it usually takes you about... I don't think I've ever played a game of 40k where that wasn't like an absolute blowout for one team or for one faction or the other that was in combat in less than like 3 hours. 40k can take a while to play. Battletech takes a long time. But there's a lot less units that you're dealing with in Battletech than you are. Like, technically, I am buying mechs just to own mechs. I'm not buying them because I need them to be able to play the game. You know, I've got, like, another 4 mechs in that box over there. These guys are literally, it's just, these are mechs that I want to own. I feel would fit. Give us options for the tables. 2 different merc companies plus clans. Yeah, I'm gonna probably do 3 clans. At least 3. A couple of, I think they're called stars for the clan mechs. The lances. And I think a star is 4, a lance is 5. I think. I just want enough to where I can have a lot of options on the field. I could just go, yeah, let's play with this, this, and this. And it just kind of, you know me, guys. I'm a collector. I like to have a collection of minis and models, and so, my gotta catch 'em all Pokemon mentality is very much real when it comes to my hobbies in general. Like my video games, I have 170 games installed right now. All of my computer. I'm a data hoarder as well. I like to have all of the books. You guys can, see the RPG shelf in the back there. It's 3 shelves tall, end to end, full of books, and I'm about to grow. For the Battletech mechs, yes, because at least they can all be kind of stored in, like, smaller boxes, as opposed to, like, the Warhammer stuff, which... Warhammer, you kind of have the room store, but I've had to be kind of clever with how I store my Warhammer stuff. I've had to, think outside the box a little bit on my Warhammer stuff. But Battletech, yeah. I'll still have room to store all these guys before I'm done. Like, I made a concrete buying guide for my Battletech collection. I have a set guide of mechs that I for sure want, that I have seen available on Etsy. And that's all I'm theoretically getting until, like, some other mechs come out. once the 3D printing community X probably will pick some more up, but these guys are a lot smaller. I actually can fit them into one little rubber bin. And, you know, literally, like, for 40k, I have a bin per faction, just about. A small bin per faction, minimum. And these guys, I should be able to do my entire collection, and some, in one bin. One little small bin. I can definitely tell I'm rusty. My hand dexterity is definitely not painting regularly. A lot of little goofs. A lot of little goofs here and there. And then Mech Warrior box sets is still calling to me, though. My dragon. So, for me, when Mech Warrior Online came out, the mech I gravitated to, I used to be in the 90s, because I was, you know, a kid. I liked the clan mechs. Looked pretty stupid. Art. And so, you know, the Timberwolf, of course, was my favorite. So Mech Warrior Online, when it came out, was nothing but Inner Sphere mech. And we all knew that eventually they were going to do clan mechs, but I really grew loving the Inner Sphere a lot more than I did the clan. And one of the mechs that I gravitated to was the Dragon. The Dragon is really what taught me how to play that game on Mech Warrior Online. I learned the basics of my positioning, because it couldn't carry a lot of guns. It wasn't super durable, and it was just fast enough that it could get away from a bad situation if you recognized the situation before it became untenable. And you could also use it to, like, hunt down light mechs and escort light mechs around. So it was a really versatile weapons game on. And I took advantage of it. And the Dragon has ever since been one of those mechs that And in Battletech lore, it's cheap, relatively speaking. It's pretty good when you're no longer able to rip out engines and, you know, change out engine sizes and bullshit like that. A lot of the mechs, when they have sized hardpoint, especially, really comes out and changes the game's balance. For the better, I have to say. And PGI did learn that. They learned it too late. Speaking of, I should probably log in over there and see if they have any killer valve. It's hard for me to play MechWarrior Online alone because what'll happen is I'm gone long enough to get rusty. And then I kind of take it as a challenge to get good again, and then I get good again, and then it gets to be easy, and then I get bored and quit. That is me in MechWarrior Online. I get good at it, and then I get good at it, and then I quit. Same with HOTS. Did that a lot with Heroes of the Storm as well, back when I was still playing. Why do you have to be here? Literally, if they were anyone but themselves for like 5 minutes, they could be so much better as a company. Microsoft's buyout's going to be arguably the best possible outcome if they fire Kotick. I cannot believe there's even a talk about them giving him money. That man should be in a dumpster somewhere. Out behind a Shoney's, which, once you guys watch some Tex Talks Battletech. Loaded cork. Fucking dumpster behind Shoney's. Out in the periphery for all I care. Well, the thing is it's Microsoft that's buying them out, so there's no reason to give him any money or keep him around. None. We all know what's going to happen. Microsoft's going to fold them into being part of Microsoft. It's going to be like, yeah, you're us now. You dick. They're literally trying to be like, if you change the culture of this company, we'll give you $22 million. And I'm like, there's only one way you fix that company, dude. And it does not involve giving Bobby Kotick one goddamn dime. In fact, it involves throwing him in the dumpster behind. God damn, that's gonna look nice. Big fan of the Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolt is so cool. It's got the right mix of just, it looks like it's tanky. It's just the right mech for me. Like, I love the look of the thing. As much as I love my beloved Dragon, I also love the Thunder. Like, those are my two heavies of choice. Actually, a lot of heavy mechs. I love the Warhammer. That's another really good look. The Marauder is just stunning to look at. Champion is really cool. The Guillotine looks cool. The Hammer Hands looks pretty cool. The Axeman looks really boss. like I said, there's a lot more characterfully really neat Inner Sphere mechs than there are clan mechs, in my opinion. The clan mechs, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really good ones. Like, they all look like the clan mechs that there are. They all generally look really cool, except for, in my opinion, the Direwolf and the Warhawk. Those two are not particularly good looking. Too boxy up top. They're boxy. But man, the Inner Sphere just has so many cool looking mechs. You get the better looking mechs, you get more political intrigue, and like, it's just a lot more fun. Like, you come for the clan mechs, in my opinion. Like, if you come into Battletech the way I did, you come in because the clan mechs look fun. And you love the storyline of, you know, being these noble warriors seeking to reclaim the lost birthright of Terra, and, you know, to shepherd humanity out of the Dark Age. Like, that is, like, the premise behind MechWarrior 2, which is also the basic premise of the clans. And MechWarrior 2 is told from the standpoint of the clans. And you get to pick between Jade Falcon, who are assholes, or Clan Wolf, who are very much more... They see it as a sacred, solemn duty that must be done, rather than conquest that honor demands. They don't take the wolves are more shepherd and warden than crusader. And it shows. By the end of MechWarrior 2, you definitely can tell the difference between the two factions. And that was my real introduction into, like, the deeper side of the lore. Battletech for the Genesis is also told from the clan perspective, but the game is obviously lighter on story. Partly due to the hardware limitations. But it was a really fun game. I did enjoy it. I actually own it now. Shortly after I got my Retro 3 console, I made sure that I got a copy of Battletech. Great game. And its co-op mode is very unique, where one player controls the legs and one player controls the guns and the torso. Makes the game really a lot easier. And you realize it's supposed to be controlled by, you know, 2 people instead of 1. Turns that game into a completely different experience. Real good for its time. Very unique. And talking about mechs in general and how much of a mecha fanboy I am, you know, I love Gundam. It is a ton of fun. Someday I'm going to have the capture card that I need so that I can run the old consoles and be able to stream through the computer, and maybe that'll be one of the games that I stream in once I get a buddy over, and you guys can enjoy that experience, because it is a ton of fun. It is a riot. But yeah, so like I said, you start with the Inner Sphere, or the love of the clan mechs. Pretty much everyone that comes in on the video, there's a pretty good sharp divide in the MechWarrior / Battletech community. The guys who tended to come in on the earlier video games, like I did, they usually start out liking the clans a lot more than the Inner Sphere. Eventually, you know, in my case, I became an Inner Sphere fanboy. Because there's just so much diversity in how the Inner Sphere runs. There is a faction of Inner Sphere that you will like. I can guarantee it. Or hell, you can even play as a periphery state, which changes the nature of the game entirely on the tabletop. Because periphery states don't have the money. Like, a good example of a periphery state, like a high-end periphery state, if I were to use a real-life analog, would be like, so, let me think, so essentially, like, the major players you can think of in the real world, you know, America, Russia, and all that, you know, those would be, like, your main houses. And then, like, someone like Ukraine would be like the Taurian Concordat, where they're a high-end periphery state. They are not, on paper, in any way comparable to most of the great houses. Unless you're the poor Capellans, in which case the Taurians are going to kick your ass. But yeah, like the Capellans, like the Taurian Concordat is that kind of thing, where you can make a periphery state, though, of your very own. And if you can think of it, there's a government in the periphery that runs off of it. There is probably a periphery state that is entirely run on who can eat the most burgers in a single sitting. They can range from anything from, like, essentially a small city on an asteroid, or a big city on an asteroid, that's it, to pirate bases, to runaway governments, political exiles that couldn't fit in anywhere in the Inner Sphere anymore, people that just wanted to escape the Inner Sphere life and the threat of being under the great houses. Like, there's so much cool shit in the periphery, but you don't have the same resources at your disposal. Like, you wouldn't see, you know, 4 atlases drop in a periphery state. Like, you wouldn't. That would be like their entire military on average, unless it's like the Taurian Concordat. But the Taurian Concordat is so close to being a great house in of themselves that they're kind of on that cusp of, you know, almost being an Inner Sphere power. But yeah, you guys would have a lot of fun. But for me, like, that's like I said, I started out, I liked the clan mechs. I loved Clan Wolf. And then when I learned about Ghost Bear, I loved them more, because they're space Vikings. Jocker, right? News on 11, Mav likes space Viking. Then after that, like, I got to really learn about the Inner Sphere because of MechWarrior Online, because the only people you could play as were Inner Sphere. You were playing as Inner Sphere mechs, and then eventually, you know, you got to pick your logo on the forums for what inner house you wanted to be. And then I started reading about the houses. And for me, it was Rasselheg, because Space Vikings. Space Viking Samurai. What's not to love? It satisfies the berserker in me, and, you know, it satisfies my inner weeb, both. So it's like, yes! Lot of fun. Lot of fun. But there's so much to love in Battletech. There is a faction for you in it. And also, I've also fell for Rasselhag because they're the underdogs. Like, they're literally created as just a buffer state between Steiner and Dorita. And then they take the brunt of the clan invasion, and they just fight so hard that Ghost Bear just respects them so much that Ghost Bear's like, okay, yeah, alright. We're not going to say you won, but you definitely earned your glory, and we want to join you. Ghost Bear is pretty bro. But yeah, there is a faction for you, and you can always make your own. There are established merc companies in the lore that you can play, like the Eridani Light Horse, the Grey Death's Legion, the Harakorni, you could play as, you know, any of the noble houses. You could just play straight up as in one of the noble house factions. You know, there's no limit on what you can really pick and play. And for me, you know, I'm a Rasselhag first kind of guy, but I wanted a merc company. It gives me a chance to paint my boys up the way I wanted to. The funny thing is originally the Nemean Panthers, the Discord that we have is the name of my Mech Warrior Online guild. It was named after that. We became the Nemean Panthers. And it worked out great. Huge fan. And after that, yeah, we just kind of... I really just fell for the Inner Sphere, and I love their mechs. Like, there's so much coolness in the Inner Sphere. Hell, you could be a Solaris jock if you want, which... Solaris is essentially like an arena of one mech versus one mech, and you're probably going to die very quickly, or your enemy will win. Lot of fun in the Inner Sphere to be had. Snords or Regulars is another example of a custom merc unit that they just do some weird shit just because they can. A lot. But yeah, the Sapphire Dragons, these guys, like I said, they're state-sponsored just about. They're just about as close as it gets without being an actual Rasselhag unit. You know, they always have the best toys. They're always equipped with the best options. But they still have operational freedom. Like, they're almost a client state into themselves. Because they do have, like, their own little moon that they're based out of. Which is new lore, by the way. I just made that up. Because originally I just thought, you know, hey, they just got a really big dropship. But you know what? I like the idea that the Sapphire Dragons are so good at what they do, they've got their own fucking moon. And they're kind of like out on the edge of FRR space. Probably closer to the Steiner border, to be honest. Since they have a thing against Jade Falcon in particular, it makes sense because Jade Falcon comes in through the Steiner corridor, essentially, when they come through the perimeter. They come into the Inner Sphere, they go straight after Steiner. And Steiner fares really well, ultimately, against the clans, because that's how many mechs Steiner has. Remember when I said they're mostly incompetent? Because, you know, they pay for their ranks. So, you know, it's not necessarily a skilled commander, it's just a really rich one. But Steiner has so many of these, and so many other just ungodly mech tonnage, that they're able to kind of pretty much just tank. Like, Jade Falcon makes a decent amount of progress, but it isn't like what Ghost Bear does to Rasselhag. Rasselhag eats it from Clan Wolf and Ghost Bear quite hard. And Kurita takes it pretty well, too, all things considered. But they're pretty much, like, taking it from Smoke Jaguar and Clan Wolf on Kurita's front. Actually, now that I think about it, no, Kurita does get its shit pushed in pretty hard, because they get almost all the way to Luthien, what I remember, in the lore. But they also are eating the full brunt of 2 different clan invasions at the same time. Where Steiner's pretty much just dealing with, like, Jade Falcon. Which, again, fuck Jade Falcon. So, also about a couple of the clans and, like, again, like, how different the factions can be. So, Kurita is generally, like, usually one of the bad guys in the room at any point in time. I'm 90% sure the whole reason why Clan Smoke Jaguar was created was just to make Kurita not the bad guy for a change. Because that's how evil Smoke Jaguar is. Jade Falcon's not much better, but definitely Smoke Jag they're beyond the pale comic book villain almost level bad. A little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, now think about it. Yeah, most of... I think part of it, too, is... and mech heavies. They have the Hellbringer that I liked. The Mad Dog, which I like. Timberwolf, which I like. Not many on my mental list that are immediately jumping. Sarna.net. And of course, there's a ton of audibles for Battletech on Amazon. I will warn you, most of those Audible books were recorded way back in the day. And by way back in the day, I'm pretty sure when those were recorded, you actually bought CDs to listen to your audiobook. I can't remember what other audiobook. Oh, it was Stephen King's It. They predate Audible. Put it that way. They're good, but there's a lot of 90s in there. 90s / late 80s feel. Which fits. It fits the setting, 100%. Like, Battletech is very much cassette futurism. And that's what makes part of the charm. What makes it unique. They never really got away from it. They didn't try to reinvent it. No, this is what we've got. That right mix of bulk and that is Battletech. And you see the mechs. You know, the Atlas here looks like a freaking walking god of war. As it rightly should be with a name like Atlas. But yeah, you definitely get the vibe that it's a great setting. I really recommend it. Like I said, the community's cool as hell. Check them out on Twitter. In fact, I'm actually in a community group on Twitter for Battletech, and I need to actually get around to posting there so I can introduce myself to those. Wouldn't be a bad idea to do after I get some progress done. Beautiful Sapphire Dragons company. Yeah, guys, check them out. They're great. Go ahead and go drop the link to Sarna here for you. And Sarna is probably one of the best wiki pages for a fandom ever. I mean that. They are probably one of the... Not a lot of bullshit. You don't have an entry for water. Looking at you, Wikipedia. Yeah, you guys will enjoy it. I have my problems with GW, but I have a lot less of them. And to give you an idea, like, you can get, I think it's 8 mechs? For the mechs that come in. So right now, it's a little bit more pricey than it usually is. Mainly because it's harder... Okay, so in the standard core book box set, you get the Awesome, the Battlemaster, the Catapult, the Commando, a Locust, a Shadowhawk, a Thunderbolt, and a Wolverine. Okay? You get 8 mechs. You also get the core rulebook, as well as a lot of paper cutout mechs where you can field additional mechs as paper stand-ins. And you get a ton of those. And right now, it's $77. And that's literally, they come already assembled. And all you gotta do if you want is paint. Read the rulebook and play. Like, it's a very easy hobby to get into. Compared to, especially Games Workshop, where, frankly, a fieldable army that most people are going to want to play is going to cost anywhere from $350 probably to like $700. It's very much more approachable. Very approachable. Great. It's a great setting. It's a great universe. In fact, we're going to work on our Atlas a little bit more. Because I'm going to leave that skull white. That Death's Head mask has got to stay, chat. Let's go ahead and get my fresh here for this. Okay. Now we're going to get our titanium white. Because remember, white is one of the Sapphire Dragon's colors anyway. But now we have the Atlas skull. Come on. I mean, look at that. He looks like just death incarnate. That is 100 tons of skull and death, as the saying goes. Now, so let's get our damaged. Really didn't look that bad, honestly. Like, the longer this is cured, the better I like it. Oh, how's it going? You're having a good day? Let's just give this guy a quick rinse off because he's been sitting on my shelf for God knows how long. Let's go set him off to dry for a minute. I can dry with it. Yeah. Got an old oil rag. Dry this puppy up a little bit. How are you doing, Bone Shooter? Hope you're having a good day. Nice. I figured I'd work on some Battletech today, so... Yeah. That should get us a nice... Dry enough, anyway. Dry enough. So we're going to practice on my Battlemaster that I used the oil paints on. Because, fix him is going to require some effort. Anyway, so no harm, no foul. I've goofed him up further. Wonder if I get this Battlemaster by order. Kind of do. Kind of hope that they give me this one. Weird as it sounds, I actually kind of prefer this fishbowl version over the MechWarrior Online Battlemaster. Yeah, this was an oil painted one that I did, and it was it's a hybrid oil paint where you're supposedly able to rinse in water while it's still wet before it cures, and it really didn't work out quite right because, despite the marketing hype, no, that's not how it worked. It went kind of bad. And it's kind of muddied out now compared to where it was when I first painted it. So what's eventually going to happen is when I'm going to redo with this, get another one. The next time I do oils, I'm going to have a real well-ventilated area so that I don't have to deal with the toxic fumes of the thinners. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. They'll have a streaming setup for paint with it. But I did learn some things with the oils, and they really do blend well. Yeah. Well, I've also been painting, like, several other battle mechs today. But yeah, in general, yeah, the oil is just a pain in the ass to work start to finish. It was not a pleasant. There was some stuff that I really liked about it, like the ability to push the paint around on the model is really cool. But I'm gonna need to change how I do things when I get around to doing those ever again. It also stays wet for like 7 days. Yeah, and I did learn a lot. I did learn a lot from it. They are amazing. Honestly, if I had my choice and I had the idealized setup, I'd probably just do oils and on everything. Like, I feel like in a good working environment, I feel like oils are the way to go. Have the right setup. You have an area where you can safely paint oils without being toxic fume. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, this is the first thing I ever did with oil. And there is already stuff on this mech that I could tell you that I can't do with acrylic very easily. Like the blends, just, it flowed so naturally. Kind of getting an idea of the shapes that... That's okay. But I do want a second of the Fishbowl Battle Masters, just so that I can read. I've got one, but it didn't... It's hard to explain because I couldn't get the one that I bought to pose things right. So it's been kind of, you know, an up and down kind of thing. So I think I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with the whites. So we'll go back to Mr. Atlas here. Gotta buy a new holder, I think, is really what it is. I've got some really well-painted stuff, but, like, mechs are different than painting dragons. I've kind of learned that. I've got some really cool stuff that I've done. But these are, like, this is, like, the first time that I've really worked on a lot of vehicles that I didn't just, like, shoot spray paint on or enamel. I used to do model cars as a kid, but that was all enamel. Which I did enjoy working on the enamel. And I can come back through and I can take some. Got a thinner brush. So some of the goofage is going to be changed out. Yeah. Testers enamels. That's what I very first started on with. I still have some testers paint here somewhere. That one? True Blue Pearl Model Master. No, this is a different... Ooh, yeah, we're gonna use that. We're gonna use that. That is an acrylic, but it's a pearl. The other problem I found with the holder is I like to move things around, but I'm trying to keep things on camera. It's really hard to do. Right out the tip. Yeah. I've still got to refine my setup yet, too. Like, I've got a really nice little DSLR that we use for this. I want to get it on, like, an arm setup, but I got it on a tripod right now. I need to get some kind of arm. I'm gonna probably have to just make something. I'm gonna eventually take the threading that is on this tripod, and I'm gonna like put it on like one of those rotating mic stand arms, and that way I can just move the camera around a lot easier, because I have to like undo the fastener. Like, I can still do that. There's only so much you can really turn that. Which is kind of irritating. Oh, there are? Okay, I'll have to look at... I assume there's going to be one on Amazon. I'll have to look for one then. That would make my life so much easier than having to build one. Yeah. And this is a pretty big camera. It's a Canon T4i. Hell of a camera though, man. I got it used for a song, and there's barely any hours on this on the mirror. It was really lightly used, and I got it for a song. And for what I'm using it for, it's perfect. Like, I'm not a... Theoretically, this one could too, but I only stream mini painting usually, like, when I was really regular, I'd only do it once a week for like 2 hours at a time. The day this one burns out, I'm gonna probably get a, I'm gonna probably sack up and just buy the mirrorless camera. Also, the AC power adapter is a must. Because I did notice this thing when I was still doing it on the battery. It got really hot. I mean, disturbingly hot. Like, I was worried that I was going to torch this thing. Yeah, some of those are really good, too. I thought about picking one up. It's pretty much going to be a race between whether I get a DSLR or mirrorless setup or a pretty decent video recorder. Yeah, smoke proof, time for a new one, exactly. I got it for like I'll say I got it for like $200 or something like that, or $250, and it came with 3 extra lenses plus the battery. So, and the strap. Like, it literally came like with everything except for the tripod. And I'm glad it didn't come with the pod. Yeah, it was. It was a hell of a deal. And I'm hoping that this one will last me long enough because the low shot count and mirror count use that was on this. I'm hoping it lasts long enough that I can get the mirrorless version for about the same when this one goes. On my next vacation, I'm probably going to take it with me to take some pictures of the USS Wisconsin. I try to go to see, like, battleships and stuff once a year. The plague kind of put a damper on that. I haven't been able to do it for the last couple of years. Hoping, anyway, pull that off this year. I think I'm going to take the big boy camera, because I've been using phone cameras, and yeah. This is technically what I am too, but I kind of have a fetish for technology. Like, the rig that we stream on has 24 cores. It's a dual Xeon setup, like 64 gigs of RAM. I've got a 1080 Ti in here that I bought when it was new. Lucky me, in hindsight. It's great. Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, for me, the Wisconsin is about... I think it's about a 5-hour drive for me. It's pretty close, relatively. I've been all the way down to the USS Alabama. That was a fun trip. I actually enjoyed... the Rocket Museum was a lot more fun. The ship museum for the Alabama wasn't as good as the North Carolinas was. The North Carolinas has been one of the best. I've been to the the Yorktown carrier. I was to that. You know what? We're gonna call the white done on that one. Let's get Stalker's white added on now. In places they don't normally open. And I'm trying to see if I can get a date where I can go down there on one of those days and do it that day. I think that would be cool. Honestly, it's kind of always been a thing for me. So we were going to Carolina Beach. The Carolina Beach trap? No. I was up in Cleveland for a couple of weeks, and an uncle took me to see the USS Cod, which is a Gato class submarine. And I kind of always liked wooden ships. Even as a kid, I liked, the the big caravans, caravel sail ships, the galleons and schooners and stuff. And he took me to the sub, and right after that, like, I always kind of had a thing for it. And, of all things, Sequest also kind of stoked that interest for me. State how old I really am. There was Sequest, which that was a big influence. I just, I remember the sub, and then I went to the COD, and then after that we went to, like, my family took a trip one year to Carolina Beach. And as we're going across the bridge, there's the battleship North Carolina. And I tried to get the family to stop to go see the ship, and they wouldn't do it. But I remember just staring at it as a kid, and I was just mystified. Oh, that's cool. That is cool. That is cool as hell. You got to do your enlistment. Oh, that is so cool. But yeah, I've been kind of a Navy guy ever since. And, it's like anything else where you start out with your initial favorite, which for me was, the North Carolina. And, then you start kind of learning about the war, like really learning about the war and not just the crap they taught you in school. And you start to kind of branch out a little bit amongst your country's ships. I fell in love with the standards, which we don't have any of those left. The Texas, and which I haven't been to see her yet. I'm hoping that I get to see her after the refit is what I really want to do, is see her after she's fixed up. And then you start learning about the other navies, right? Exactly. And they're history that it should be remembered. Honestly, if more people went to those museums, I think a lot of our problems would probably not be as severe as they are now. But, I started learning about the other nations' navies. The first... at some point, World of Warships happened after I took my... right about when World of Warships came out, I finally got to go see the North Carolina within, a year maybe, or two, tops. And by then, the previews for other nations' ships started coming out. They released the Roma as a premium, and the Dunkirk. And then I realized I really liked the looks of the Italian and French Navy battleships. 20 years you were stationed on... Wow! CV-66. Damn, that is cool, dude. I never wound up enlisting because the Navy had already hit their quota for recruits for the area, and on top of that, my recruiter was a complete dumbass. And he screwed up my med docs so bad on getting the med doc information filled out that the MEPs wanted me to go chase... Now, I was 24 at the time, so I was 6 years graduated from high school. And they wanted me to track down past teachers for character references. And, at that point, I was unemployed, so my fuel budget was extremely limited, especially with the piece of crap I was driving at the time. And it just never happened. Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. Exactly. Like, I passed the nuclear qualification exam, because they made me do that. At the time, I could do, like, I think it was, like, I could do, like, 60 push-ups in under a minute. Like, I was ready to go. Like, physically, I was ready to go, and I had the smarts at the time. And the guy just was a fucking chump. Honestly, if I'd gotten in, I'd probably still be in. Just to do my 20. Because, lo and behold, I wound up, you know, working for the government eventually anyway. Now I'm 10 years into that. Only got 20 to go, and then I get the full benefits package. But yeah, the dude was dumb. Like, one of my friends went with me to the recruiter, and we're sitting in there, and he looks at my friend, and my friend is like, we're both trying to get into the Navy, right? See, originally I wanted to be a diver. I wanted to go into the diving program, because my first recruiter, I wound up having to change recruiters because the other recruiter was just too far away. So I had to go to the local one, and I was like, I want to be a diver. And he's like, no, man, you want to do the nuke qualification, because he saw what he was like, no, we're going to try to get you in the nuke program, man. That's a much better program. We always need nuke guys. And there was only, so, you know, we did the ASVAB, and I only had to have, like, because of the ASVAB score, I think it was like a 90-something. I think state government, but yeah. Specifically, you know, a county, but it is still government work, state government. But so what happened was I did like a 93 or something on the ASVAB, so I only had to make like a 30 on the nuke test to pass it. I had to teach myself fucking calculus like within like 3 weeks, at least enough that I knew I could get better than a 37. And I did, needless to say. I got like a 64 or something like that. And they were still getting ready to sign me up, ship my ass off, and they send me down to MEPS, and then I find out that the guy screwed up the med docs, because she's like, what the hell am I even looking at? Like, literal exact words for the medical examiner from her was, yeah, exactly. I kind of knew. And, you know, when I went in, you know, I knew what I was going for. It's like, I'm going for the benefits. I'm going for, you know, college. I can provide a service to the country, and I know when I get out, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to go original plan. You know, do my 20, come out, do my eng degree, and then, you know, either work as a mechanical engineer or a nautical engineer. And that was the original plan. And the guy fucked up so bad that the medical examiner, she goes, what the fuck am I even looking at right now? And I was like, you're looking at what he got. You know, they didn't show me. They just, you know, send it straight on down to MEPS. But man, I worked so hard physically to be ready, like, because I knew the bullshit that recruiters do. I was like, they're gonna probably stick me in, like, as soon as they realize that I have, like, you know, I'm shredded as hell,